welcome to another episode of Rejuvelation. I'm your host, Daniel Maddox. Today is March 4th, 2018, and we will be talking about numerology. The event announcements I have today are for the Truth of Mind Reality Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. It goes from this upcoming Saturday, next Saturday, March 10th, to, it's a whole day event, so it's 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's $35 in advance, which please do buy your tickets in advance. It helps everybody work out how much they should offer, what they should offer. It also helps pay for the speakers who will be there. So really buying your ticket in advance is better than a donation, and also it's cheaper. So by $5. If you buy it at the door, it's $40. If you buy it in advance online, it's $35. So a little bit about the Truth of Mind Reality Conference. It is an attempt to harness the common thoughts, observations, and ideas of some of today's free-thinking researchers and speakers with the intent of initiating, guiding, and/or continuing humanity's evolution from its current conditions. Sounds pretty good. We need that, don't we? Now, the confirmed speakers for the event are Sonia Barrett, Mike Basek, Steve Cohn, Mark Devlin, Lennon Honor, Mark Passio, and Irene Pott. Okay, so that's enough for the event announcements. Let's get into what numerology is. So, numerology is an occult science, which means, in essence, it's a system of knowing yourself that's hidden. Okay? Numerology, astronomy, Kabbalah, tarot, these are the four basic and, one of the oldest occult sciences that are out there. And basically, numerology is using your birth number, your dates, birth dates, and birth date, and your full name, and then those two give certain numbers. And then there is the consonants in your full name and the vowels in your full name added up separately, and those give different numbers. And the idea here is that when you were born, the date you were born, it had a specific number, a vibrational frequency, which was infused within you upon your birth. And your name isn't just random. Nothing's random. This is the whole thing that's hidden from people, is that nothing's a coincidence, nothing's hidden. Nothing's random. It all has meaning. It all came from something else, for something else, into something else. So, the long and the short of it is, numerology, the roots of it date back thousands of years, with variations of it found in many cultures throughout history, although some people are quick to dismiss it as pseudoscience. Most people would consider it pseudoscience. Many of the most well-respected mathematicians of all time have studied it and also spoken about it, if not in the terms of numerology, in terms of numbers being everything and everything being number and everything being geometry and all of it being energy in motion and having specific numerical values that always repeat and have, there's mystical numbers that just 3, 7, 12, these things, which are embedded in our subconscious as things that have great meaning, and then also in our history. It's probably the reason, because it's embedded in our subconscious. Now, to get a full sense of this, I think the best way for me to explain it would be to relate it in terms of how it affects me, how it has explained my life. So, let's talk about the first number that most people look into, and this is your life lesson. And this is your birthday added up. So, I was born July 9th, 1987. So that's 7/9/1987, or 1987. You don't really add up the 10-digit places, or the 2-digit places for, 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s. You keep it the same. So if you 9 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7. Now, this will add up to 5, because what you do is you take the numbers that you got, and then you add them, you keep adding them. So 7 plus 9 is 16, okay? And then 16 plus 1 is 7. And then 17 plus 9 is 26. And then 26 plus 8 is 34. And then 34 plus 7 is 41. And 40 plus 1 equals 5. I hope I got that right. And I was just doing the math on the fly in my mind. And even though it's addition, you know, people don't generally use their minds for these kind of things anymore because we have calculators. Use it or lose it. Now, on number 5, if you imagine on a scale between 1 and 9, because we don't use 10, it only goes between 1 and 9, because 10 is just the restart of the cycle back to 1. 5 would be the middle. And it's the most versatile. It's the center point of all the numbers. It can go either which way. It's quick to be adventurous and wanting to go out and explore. And it's very, engaged in whatever it's doing. Now the next number would be your destiny number. And this is adding up your full birth name. So it has to be the name that's on your birth certificate, because that's the name that was either, however you want to look at it, it was given to your parents synchromistically, I should say, or it was just the numbers of which and the energetic values of which infused a purpose within you, however you want to say it, because either it was already how it was going to be, before you were even born, you decided this is what you needed to work on or whatever, or these energies just happen to go within a blank slate body. Either way you want to look at it, I think it could be correct. Now, you add up my full name, so it's Daniel Shane Maddox, and these all have numerical values, which you'll see in this little chart here. And you add those all up, and then again, you take whatever that number is, and then you add it again. And for me, this equals 9. And a 9 is the very end of the cycle. It's gone from 1 all the way through 8 to the 9th. And so it is ready to move on to the next stage, or evolve, or to break out of the whole scale that you've been in from 1 to 9, or 1 to 8 before. And a 9 is somebody who is a big brother. They're like, the typical guru or the typical person who is ready to be a total humanitarian, and because they've already gone through all the other urges and all the other energetic numbers, and so they've already learned all the lessons of following and needing all the helps. And even though these are all microcosms within macrocosms that we all go through to reach, through each phase, no matter what your number is, you can experience any of these roles. But generally, a 9 means that I'm ready to transition, or that the physical world as such isn't really my goal at all anymore. It's to further myself beyond it. And then you get your outer personality number, and this is by adding up all the consonants in your name. That would be like, B, C, Q, D, R, S, the heavies. And then you take all those and you add it, and then you add it again. And for me, this is an 8. And these are personality traits it's an outer personality trait, so it's how people perceive you. It isn't necessarily who and what you are, but it's the energy with which you emit, and it's how people see you. So for me, an 8 means that I'm pretty flashy. I like to, it seems like I'm trying to be a boss. It seems like I'm trying to control people. And another thing, for my next number too, for my heart's desire, I kind of am trying to control people. And I do think that my ideas are right, and they're the only ones that are valid. That's the part of my soul desire, or my my heart's desire. That's the next number. That's adding up the vowels in your name and then breaking it down. But so as with anything, there's a positive and negative, or a higher pole and a lower pole, however you want to look at it. And basically, depending on how you are addressing your inner self, this is how everything works. Whatever we're talking about, no matter what it is, how much you know yourself will determine how you live in the world. Because if you don't know yourself at all, and you're just walking around totally asleep, totally angry, totally in fear, you don't really know yourself. It's antithetical. They're diametrically opposed realities. If you truly know yourself, you're not going to be angry. You're not going to be afraid. And you're not going to exhibit the negative personality traits or the negative essences of your path. Because when you know yourself, first of all, you know that you're spirit. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. And that this life is a testing ground. And it all matters, but not in the same way that it matters where you have to throw away everything that is truly important to gain, to stay alive, or to, live at all costs, or might makes right, or totally throwing natural law in the face of damnation. Just, I don't care about that. I just want what's for me. And those things you won't do. If you really know yourself, then you know all the rest of the universe. All of this is known. And in a case like that, and I don't mean like you know everything, you're not omniscient, omnipresent, you know everything that's going on. You just know that you are one and all is one. And it breaks down to this. Whenever you see anything, on the most fundamental level, you know that person, that thing, is you. And this really helps for people that you may dislike, or people who are totally on the wrong life path, or in what you consider to be the wrong life path. You just look at them in the eyes and you go, okay, this is me in a different state of mind right now, in a whole different history. Because it's like relating it to like a child, for instance, your own child. You see yourself in it completely. You feel so attached to it because it is you. Well, when you have that same feeling for everyone else, and you're like, that is me. That jerk over there that ran into my car and then spit in my face and drove off, and I had to pay for the insurance again, never found them, all that stuff, whatever. These people that you think are not even human, or beneath you or below you in social status, or in economic status, all these bubbles that people try to put themselves into and remove others from, these barriers that people place between themselves and others, is ultimately a barrier preventing you from really knowing yourself, truly knowing what's going on out there. And numerology, when you know yourself, and then you know that these are the energies with which you were born, and that these are skills that you have, and they are also things that you need to work on and be aware of. It's like having the cheat codes to your life before it's even begun. Imagine being told when you're 3 years old or something, as soon as you're able to really comprehend it in earnest, or not in earnest, but you know what I mean. Like you're hearing it and you're like, what's that? But you're still like picking it up and learning it. You're told from that age, listen, your strengths are going to be that you want everybody to come together. You want to help the whole world. These are the things that you're going to do really well in. And you can do whatever you want, but just test the grounds for certain things and see if you excel in certain things and not others. And then, this is the best way to test if numerology is really true. First of all, you read your things, and then you go, does that really fit me? Like, for instance, my soul number, which is, or my heart's desire, which is adding up all the vowels in my name. It's often referred to as the ones. They are highly attributed to leadership, success, achievement, individuality, rigid. They're born with passion to succeed and lead. They believe in coming up with new ideas to aid in the handling of issues and situations. Right off the bat, yeah, I've always wanted to be a leader. I've always been a leader, not always successfully. I've really hurt a lot of people because, and this is another part about the heart's desire of number ones, is that I think my ideas are the only ones that matter, and everyone else's ideas don't, and they're not valid. So, and that's the negative attribute of that side. And that was because I didn't know myself and because I didn't believe in other people's information. I always told my mom, when she told me to study certain people or something else other than what I was writing, I would tell her, no, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to, taint my own opinion with what they're doing. But I didn't consider it my opinion. I considered it the truth. When I was 14 years old, I wrote a book called Defined Reality. You read it now, and it's like, talking to a meth head. It's like, what? What are you talking about? None of this makes sense. But at the time, I thought that I was like Einstein reborn. And so, and a lot of people would read it and be like, whoa, this is way heady. And, maybe it does make sense, but I can't. Whoa, yeah, keep going. It's great, but it was that kind of scenario. So, like it says right here, they're independent in nature. I've always been independent. Not in being, supporting myself. I've been under the wings of my family for a long time, and still am. But I'm actually proud of that and happy of that now. Not so much that I wasn't able to work on myself and be independent when I was young, but now that I am working and supporting, paying rent, doing so much for the house and the family, and loving it and not feeling like it's some duty that I don't want to do, but it's it's an honor to be a part of a real family and not like so many others where their families just spread across the planet and they never talk to each other, and even if they do, it's like a 5-minute Skype call or something, and they don't build up one thing, one family essence, that they're all just interested in doing their own thing, which, there's good and bad things to that as well. But it says here, I believe, everyone should obey my orders, and mine are the best, and, I'd be successful at starting projects and companies and all these things. So, basically what I want to say is numerology has helped me really be clear about what I'm good at. Even though I always kind of believe these things about myself, not numerology in general, now I'm really clear about it. And I totally see, looking back on my life, that this has all been true. And it is continuing to be true. And even now it's getting more and more and more and more and more. So numerology is an occult science. It can help you in many ways. There's many websites out there. One of the books is Numerology and the Golden Triangle, I think it is. Let's see if that's really what it was. I haven't read it, but that's the book that I used to get my numerology. I just went into the codexes of it and everything. So that book is, this is the thing about so much technology, is that you remember something going onto your phone or something, and then it's like, but where? It's not like the old days where there's only one place it could go in a text message. Numerology and the Divine Triangle, by Faith Yavane, and Dusty Bunker. It's not like the old days where it would just be in one place. You need a good system of focus, and a good system of filing, and a good system of putting things in certain places. My computer is a great example. Before, my screen would just be blacked out with, or, you know, there'd be files everywhere, and once I put something somewhere, it was gone. And then by the time it was time for me to change computers or reformat the hard drive or whatever, like, I would just have so much stuff everywhere that I have no idea where this came from, where it went, and just corrupt files of the yin-yang. But now I'm so much more organized, and it's really helped focus my life. Behind me you can see all these boxes here. We just had a garage sale, and I mean, I didn't have much stuff to get rid of in the first place, but I have consolidated everything that I own outside of my room into like 2 boxes. Everything I own in 2 boxes. Not even big boxes, like this. One of these, And these are all my journals through my whole life. It's like I've been writing pretty much non-stop since I was, I don't even know, 10? So that's 20 years. I didn't really start writing every single day until I was like 16 or 17, and then I stopped a while, like, when the fear really hit me strong, in the last 2 years before this, like, I got to the point where I was just lost in drugs, lost in, a marijuana haze where I was literally just catatonic and in a coma almost. Not doing anything, not engaging my will, not, even my intentions and my thoughts were all out of whack. And I'm so glad that I'm out of that now because, whoo! You look back on some times in your life and you think, did I actually survive that? Or am I dead now and I'm in heaven because I've gotten so far? You know what I mean? Like, you just sit back and laugh. It's like, what? It's like one of those really trippy mindfuck movies where you walk out of it thinking like, what? And it is a mindfuck. It's so trippy. And a lot of people never come out. A lot of people go into this thing thinking, oh, well, they study one aspect of it, chemtrails, for instance, or 9/11, and they're thinking, oh, well, there's just a few people in government. Oh, and they start with one thing that they can find interest in, like fluoride in the water, GMOs, Monsanto, the debt, the wars, the bankers, aliens, anything that people grab onto and then can look into the matter deeper and deeper and deeper. If they keep going, they get to a point where then it's just free-for-all collapse. Like it's, just like 9/11. The building fell at the speed of gravity. If you would have dropped a bowling ball off the building as it was falling, they'd be both falling at the same speed. Which, again, if you believe that is what really happened, that planes flew into the top of it, melted it, and then somehow caused it to fall the same speed as a bowling ball being thrown off of it, you're delusional and you're a child, and wake up. We've been in this circumstance now since 2001. That's 17 years of people being unable to cope with this truth, that it is truly and absolutely not the way the government said. In every respect. Building 7, no plane hit Building 7. They're right next to Building 1 and 2, World Trade Center towers. And it fell at free fall speed. They say that an office fire started in there. What's this? I don't know if you can see it, but how can I make this more fun? I just set a random reminder for me. It's not random, it's at 102, which equals 3. The Trinity. How can I make this more fun? You start playing with numerology. Start infusing numbers into your life. Start seeing them everywhere. Using gematria, where you use geometry and number. 777. 7 plus 7 plus 7, that's a very holy, lucky number, because it's supposed to represent your thoughts, actions, emotions in total, like, legendary level harmonics, like where it, because just the trinity of 3 is just the simple basic. It's the most basic trinity there is, and then there's higher trinities that go further, and 777 being one of them, because that's the number of man in his divine state. Jesus was the 777, but then there's levels beyond that. There's 888, which is the universe being in a godly state, and then 999, which is just like all of the the omniverse. It just goes on and on. Yeah, so that's what I really have to say about numerology. I know that I've gone back and forth, but I really highly suggest you look into it. Again, check out the Truth Mind Reality Conference. I know it's happening in like 5 days here, and it's short-term notice, but if you have the money and you have the time, check it out. Just be aware of events that are going on around you. Make meetup groups. I'm going to a meetup group at 2:14 for the Morpheus and Neo meetup group, which my friend created here in Monterey, Pacific Grove. And I'm going to be showing them a video called In Shadow. You can see the little clip of it here. And I mean, this is powerful footage here. It's 13 minutes, and there's no talking, and it's, unless you consider the mumbling that they do within the movie talking, but it's dark, it's serious, but it's also enlightening, and it's also uplifting if you take the true essence, the true core of the message of the film. So thank you so much for your support. Again, I have the donation link below, and I really thank those who would donate to me for this. I know it's, if you have the time, if you have the money, or if this time you find valuable and you want to donate to me, because I don't work, I don't pay taxes, I don't do evil, okay? On certain levels, it's just like, get out of the system any way you can, and if you can survive, doing cash-only jobs and really backing away from the domination system, it only helps more and more, and people see a way out, and they see that it doesn't need to be this way. It doesn't need to be where everybody's walking around and they don't know anything about themselves. They don't have any tools to help them. They don't know about numerology. They don't have the keys to their own destiny. They'd rather believe that it's all meaningless and that it's all going downhill quick, and that it's just a fear porn ride. You're on a roller coaster where it's just pure chaos and fear, and you can get off anytime you want, but you stay on because it's like it's an addiction. Because to pull away from the system, to pull away from that ride, would be to say that, or it would be to believe or to know that there's another way. And most people are so in the ride, they think it's so real that that's the only way. And if they back away from it for even a moment, they're basically ensuring their own destruction, which couldn't be further from the truth. So those are my thoughts about numerology and where we are again here on Rejuvelation. Thank you so much for your time, and have a beautiful, wonderful day and life. And it'll get better and better every moment. The more you know yourself, the more you truly know yourself, the more that you know you are a star. Okay, the 4 points of the star there on the bottom are the physical world: fire, water, air, earth, and then all the motions and all the energies that comprise that. And the top one here, that's the spirit. Okay, and when you turn that upside down and the spirit's buried underground, that's the whole bafflement. That's the goat head thing, and that's where the physical world is the most important. And the spirit is buried underground, doesn't even exist, okay? Because it has to be to stand up that way, doesn't it? The star, with the upwards pointing star, that has the 2 points at the bottom which give it balance. But an upside down star, it's 1 point going straight into the ground, and the only way that it can balance itself is to bury that element, that essence. Let's think about that. There's a little graphic on the screen right now, and this is, Adam and Eve represent the upwards facing pentagram, and then Lilith and Samuel represent it upside down, because those are the dark essences. And I really, really can't highly suggest enough that you look into numerology, that you look into, first of all, symbology is probably even more important because it's everywhere. Your numbers and your own destiny and stuff, that's great. But to truly see the outside world decoded, it's like wearing the glasses, and I'm going to harp on this always and forever. They Live, John Carpenter movie. Is it John Carpenter? I'm not sure if it's John Carpenter, scratch that, but it's one of those movies where you put on the glasses, you see reality's decoded, and this is all just it's an analogy for being able to see and decode reality through your knowledge of symbolism, through your knowledge of what's really being said to you. So yeah, go see They Live, watch it again and again until you truly know it, believe it, And thank you so much.
Just a minute, I know that it'll surface, so let me just hang out for the night. It serves a purpose, it lets me take a break, and I might not think it's worthless. In the morning I can fight it, in the morning I'll rewrite it. Shh, I don't wanna talk right now, got enough to think about, heads in the clouds. I don't even wanna think right now, got enough to worry about, gotta keep it down. Got the same thing lingering around my mind. Alarms are gone off, so it's about time.